how to use Vwap to predict winning trades. In this video, we're going to be diving into what the Vwap indicator is and how we can use it with some examples today with two different stocks. We'll talk about a stock right here. We have NIO pulled up, but we'll also talk about a penny stock and how you can see this across different stocks. It doesn't just have to work on NIO and Apple and Tesla and the big names. This does tend to hold up quite well on a lot of stocks. Let's talk about that trading strategy here in just 1 second, but first, let us dive into what Vwap is and how we can utilize it. So Vwap is volume weighted average price. I want to make this video short, sweet, to the point so you can get in and get out with a trading plan and strategy with the Vwap indicator. It is one of the indicators that personally I actually always have up when looking to make a day trade. Something that I like to use on the 1 day, 1 minute, and the 1 day, 5 minute personally, but it can certainly be used on other time frames as well. So this is what a lot of traders use. Now, one of the biggest things when it comes to trading is that you want to be looking at indicators and you want to be looking at different things that right? Trading psychology is huge, right? So if you know a lot of people are using an indicator, then that indicator definitely can be beneficial to you because you generally have a sense as to what most people are looking to do with certain things on certain indicators, certain time frames. So we'll talk about that here in just 1 second. But it gives the average price a security has traded at throughout the day based on the volume and the price, okay? So think about this. If a stock is moving up to the upside, but it's got like super low volume, okay, Vwap is going to go up, but all of a sudden the stock dumps to the downside and there's heavy trading volume. That Vwap, that volume weighted average price, is going to come down substantially. However, if the stock is going up on a heavy volume and then it starts to sell off on very light volume, well, that volume weighted average price is not going to come down as much. That's essentially what you need to know when it comes to the Vwap. Here's an example of a chart that they have pulled up of using volume weighted average price. We have a gap down right here, and then the stock stays below that Vwap line for much of the day, or for at least the time frame that we're looking at. In terms of the specific formula, and then we'll dive into things, it is calculated by the sum of the price times the volume over or divided by the sum of the volume. Okay, that's how they calculate the Vwap, the volume weighted average price. Now, let's look at some examples. But first, if you guys would not mind making sure you're jumping down, hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing so you don't miss when we post these videos. Appreciate you guys, and let us know in the comment section what time frame you like to use the Vwap on, or if you're brand new to the Vwap, let us know if you're looking forward to using this in your own trading. So right now we're looking at the 1 year, 1 day chart. Let's zoom in to today on NIO, the 1 day, 1 minute chart. Absolutely beautiful example. And I didn't pre-plan this. I pulled up NIO. It was one of those stocks. I was like, let me just see how NIO looked. And it actually ended up working very well. Now, this is actually going to be kind of a lesson as well on, support resistance too, in a sense. But here's Vwap. Our Vwap is this white line. Let me clear this up. The Vwap is the white line that is showing up here on the chart. That is it. We are using Webull. There'll be a link down below if you want to use the exact same platform as us to get some free stocks when you sign up and just deposit a few dollars on the platform. That'll be linked in the pinned comment and description, but up on the charting feature, you go to indicators, and on top of indicators, you'll scroll over, go to all, and then you'll be able to find Vwap. If you scroll down and highlight Vwap, if you go to edit, you'll be able to edit the color and whatnot of Vwap. Click on that, and it's Vwap 14, and we can change the color. We like to use white here just so we can see it on the darker background, okay? So that's our line, that's Vwap, and generally the first few minutes of the day, right, there's some crazy price action. So generally speaking, give it a couple minutes, let things iron out, let people kind of buy, sell, do their thing, and let's let the trend develop. Then we can utilize Vwap a lot more effectively. Vwap is generally seen as an indicator where a stock is bullish when above and bearish when below, and we could not have seen that more perfectly here today with NIO. So NIO initially opens up, it kind of gets choppy the first few minutes, and then it immediately starts to push on up. It gets above Vwap and it pushes on up. It did not come back and test Vwap until just about 10:30. So a little bit after an hour, over an hour after the market was open, it comes back down to test Vwap. Now, one thing to also note, we look at Vwap as an area of support and resistance. Support when the stock is trading above Vwap and it comes down, that's an area to watch as support. And resistance when a stock is trading below and then comes up to Vwap, that's resistance. Generally, that's what we're seeing, and that's what a lot of traders are going to be thinking. So a lot of traders are selling into VWAP when a stock is pushing up to that level, and they're buying down towards VWAP when a stock is dipping down to that level. That's one of the biggest strategies that could be very, very helpful, that VWAP bounce either to the upside or back to the downside if you're someone who is shorting a stock. That is one of the best trading strategies out there, or the simplest trading strategies out there when it comes to looking to profit off of intraday price action. What we also want to pay attention to here with NEO is we also want to pay attention to what we're noticing on this chart. Does the stock come down to VWAP and immediately bounce right off it? No, it comes down to that level. We see a couple candles that dip below, and then it recovers up. It comes back down, pushes up, comes back down one more time, and then recovers right back to the upside. So what we're seeing here is we're not seeing a perfect bounce, but we're using VWAP as a general area. I think that's the best way to use VWAP. Essentially, think of VWAP, and if we can draw some lines in here, think of it almost as like an area, right? If you can put an area on this, and think of it as like a plus or minus a couple points. And that's what you want to be looking at as that VWAP area for a bounce, or for kind of a pullback to the downside if a stock's below and bouncing back to the upside, or bouncing up and then down off of VWAP, okay? That's something that you want to make sure you're paying attention to, because we see this exact same thing play out. So NEO generally holds up on VWAP and pushes back to the upside. It would have been a really nice long trade. Then NEO starts to drift its way down. It gets to VWAP and it falls below. When it falls below right here, it tries to get back above, and we see two instances where it tries to get back above, but it cannot get back above, and it falls to the downside. On that second attempt back to the upside, that's where you could have had more conviction. That's where you could have added to a short position here on NEO, and ultimately, right, you would have had a stop loss in mind. Okay, if NEO gets back up to the upside and goes above VWAP and breaks above and holds over VWAP, I'll get out of my short position, but it did not, and so you could have had a very nice short to the downside as NEO pushed down. Then eventually it came back up, tested VWAP yet again, and then started to reject off that level. So what do we notice here? What are the key takeaways when looking to trade VWAP? Support when above, resistance when below, and it's usually a key level that a stock likes to battle throughout the day. Bulls versus bears, right? Bears want to keep it under VWAP, bulls want to get it above, and that's the battle, that's that line in the sand that we're seeing across a lot of stocks. So this is NEO. It's a big name stock. A lot of people know NEO. It's got a lot of volume. Let's talk about a stock that doesn't have much volume, but we can see a similar pattern. We're looking at a penny stock here, NVOS. They had some news and it pumped up intraday. The stock went from just in the low twos to almost $3. Now, in this process of the stock pushing on up, what do we see? Essentially no volume, and then all of a sudden these volume candles start picking up and we see volume coming on in. But guess what happens here? The stock pushes up. It hits up to about 285 or so, and then it pulls back. And where did it pull back to initially? It pulled back just to the north of VWAP and then bounced up from that 265 area where it pulled back just north of VWAP, and then it pushed up and hit just shy of $3. If you do the math, obviously we're talking penny stocks here, so you have to understand that the percentages are going to be different than NEO. But here in this case, that was a 12, well, that's actually a 13% bounce off of that VWAP level. Then what do we notice? The stock comes down, it dips just below, it kind of fakes you out, reclaims on VWAP, and bounces back up again, and the same exact thing. This time the stock came down to about 260 and then pushed up here to about 295. So a similar percentage return, about that 10 to 15% return that you're getting off of those VWAP bounces. Then the stock falls below, the volume starts to fade off, it tries to go back up right here, it tries, and then it fades off and fails and cannot reclaim that VWAP. And at that point, it was a short because now the bears are in control, the longs are selling their shares, they've given up, and these shorts are going to take the stock back to the downside. And we see from that point, now obviously the stock came down quite a bit, but from that point where you realize, okay, this is a failed VWAP attempt, even if you didn't catch that exact top, which you're not going to catch the top, but let's say you grabbed it here at this 257, you had a very nice ride down, actually 17% to the downside if you were someone who was shorting this stock back on to the downside. So there you guys have it. That is VWAP. That's how to trade VWAP, volume weighted average price. Obviously, there are other ways to go about trading this. Let us know in the comments section down below how you like to trade VWAP, if you like to use it, and what charts, what stocks you are using VWAP on right now. Appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Platform we're using is Webull. If you want to get access to the exact same platform, charting features and all that, link in the pinned comment and description box down below for that. Any other links and resources will be there as well as our other 2 channels. So if you like the stuff here, good chance you like the content on our other channels. Check out those links in the description box as well. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.